Hey, it's Sky again, and this is, I guess, like kind of a supplement to my original Mesmer PvP video. I didn't actually know I had this footage, or else I would have just strung it all together instead of making them separate videos. But I figured I'd throw it up there anyways with some actual commentary because I noticed that while I displayed, I guess I displayed Mesmer PvP well in the previous video. I didn't discuss it very well, which is something I should have done, and so I figured I'd remedy that here. Again, I'm using staff as my main weapon, and I'm actually using a scepter and a torch, not a focus. That was my bad in the first video. My utility skills are Decoy, which creates an illusion phantasm in front of me and invises me. Typically, I use that as either my getaway or just to get more damage out there. It's really nifty to drop it and then roll backwards or roll forwards to disorient people. My elite is the Moa bird. Moa form just turns them into a Moa, makes them useless for like 5 to 7 seconds. I have, I believe it's manipulate. It's just a blink. It's a teleport. It's really handy. You'll see me use it in quite a lot of situations here. Mirror image creates two clones of myself, and just in my standard staff skills. So this guy, I kind of come out of the gate here just I'm actually with someone at this point, I believe. I usually go by myself, which is not always the wisest decisions, but this time it's cool. We're 2v1 in this guy. He's going down not very quickly because warriors are crazy, but I got all my clones out there. You notice that at the beginning of fights, I try to get as many clones out there as possible, even though their damage is like kind of crappy. I just toss them out there because, that extra factor of deception really helps. Phantasms, though they don't deceive, it's nice because they actually do damage, which is phenomenal. So yeah, this guy's still going. I mean, if you were worried about warriors not being hardy, anyone who hasn't gotten the chance to try them or wasn't in beta or whatever, well, here you go. We got been chasing this guy a lot longer than we should have, honestly. Should have focused more on points, but yeah, we take him down. And there's a point behind us, so it's not a total loss. We can go back and grab it. But he gets the dunk. Just boom, right down. I don't want to say it was an easy fight because while there was no risk to me or my ally, it was a big time waster. So here I start moving in. It's generally better to stay out of bigger fights, so you notice I see a lot of people here. A lot of reds, that is. And I'm like, a little wary. Don't want to go in there right away because it's really easy for me to get outnumbered. I know you might be thinking, oh, but you have phantasms and clones, Sky. So it's like there's a bunch of you, and you don't really get outnumbered. Right, except phantasms die very quickly, clones die almost instantly, and deal no damage. So my numbers are a fabrication. They're used to disorient people, but it's not as much of a numerical advantage as you'd think. Here, it's actually keeping me alive because I probably should point it out in the moment. I'd ramble, but the warrior just dropped his chase on my clone, so he wasn't able to pursue me up this ramp. And it's always satisfying when that happens, even if I didn't entirely intend it. But there's a fight in the clock tower. Always fights in the clock tower. You're looking for trouble, one in the clock tower. If you look on the ledge there, you can kind of see his little skirt bottoms. I have a phantasm up there doing DPS up there. That was actually intentional, my placement of that, because it allows me to have DPS from a different angle while I am involved in the fray from a different one. Here, I decoyed. I decoyed out. I was in a rough spot, and then I immediately blinked following that, so that for all intents and purposes, I'm gone, and then I just materialize on the other side of the room. Very effective. It's super simple. It's not, I mean, not a lot of brain power behind using those two things in conjunction, but very effective. That's my other ability. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. I really apologize. It's my heal. It like teleports me away from my target and heals me basically, and I chain that with my teleport a lot as well because it's awesome. I mean, you can cover so much distance, get out of a fight, get into a fight, what have you. It's a little tricky to get into a fight. You have to like target someone in the opposite direction of the battle and then use your heal ability to pop you back into it. And it's usually a lot better to use it as an escape, obviously, than it is as an initiation, but it has its uses for that. I mean, everything, a lot of the skills in this game are multifaceted, which I really enjoy. I think that's how it should be. Not as much as Guild Wars 1, which is a bit of a bummer, but definitely a lot of different utility out of all of the skills, even though it might not at first hand be what you'd think it'd be used for. Mesmer excels at this especially. I was going to cap that point. I don't know why I didn't. That's bad on me. There's two other people who aren't making the same mistake and are going for the point. I go to down this Guardian here. I don't succeed. He gets rezzed before I'm able to down him. And the problem with downing is if you don't succeed, then and there's other people coming to help the person you're trying to finish, I mean, the animation is really long. I don't have an issue with the animation. I think it should be long, but it's very long. So you best be hoping you're not going to get interrupted while using it, or else, like I just that whole thing, I left myself wide open for that. I couldn't have reacted nearly as quickly as would have been necessary to survive that fight. So that was totally on me. Greed got the better of me. You might want that sweet finish me points, but sometimes it's just not worth it. There was a swarm of dudes behind him. I had no real chance there, but I went for it anyways because, hell, I like my points. I don't condone it, but what are you going to do? This match, this is just more of the same, but I kept it in here because I realized that throughout the footage, each different match actually portrays different aspects of what I'm trying to show, so it actually worked out kind of well. Here I get caught off guard by another Mesmer. I don't know what she stunned me with, and I don't know why she didn't set up better before stunning me. Ideally, she would have made all of these clones and phantasms that she's calling into being now before she initiated on me, and then I would have been overwhelmed. As it is, I notice someone else coming to help her, so I get out of there, and I'm like, well, screw this. I run into this riverbank, and then I decoy backwards, which stealths me and moves me, and that lets me just back out of all of her clones, back out of her, back out of her help, gives me a real ace in the hole for an escape. And I run back this way, past her clone. That was a clone, if you noticed that I was throwing some autos at on the way back, and pretty much home free. They gave up because in this game, in the structured PvP sense at least, it's often not worth the pursuit because you're missing out on either capping a point or helping your friends or downing one of the mini bosses to give your team a buff. So running away typically against people who aren't just like crazy point hungry monsters is usually good because you'll get out of there. I probably could have even fought her and won, honestly. I don't know, but I didn't want to risk it. I wanted to get to the main event fast as possible, start laying it down. I got my scepter out. So I'm getting, basically what I use the scepter for is to get out additional phantasms, and then I swap back to my staff. So it's all about, my build is all about getting numbers out, even though they might not do damage, you know, it's a psychological advantage, whatever you want to call it, and it just looks cool. Look at all the little me's with scepters, and me with the staff, because people need to know it's me, I guess. When they all ran forward there, I just shattered them on someone. This guy, I'm not really sure what happens here. I'm not entirely familiar with all of the warrior skills, so I don't know how he gets up. He was downed, and his bar doesn't hit full, but he gets right back up. So I was kind of like crap, in a bad spot, also trying to do the finish him animation, and, you know, rough spot. I got him anyways, though. Got him anyways. All was K, because staff has massive condition application. I guess he bled out or something, and that's always good. Traits, I should have covered this earlier. I don't remember the oh god, what is it? The runes or whatever. I don't remember the ones I picked. I do know that I had 30 points in illusions, 15 points in chaos, and 15 points in domination. So obviously I'm going very heavy on the clones, you know, giving them all the little bonuses I can. It wasn't much because they still go down in one hit, and the non-phantasm damage is pretty dismal, but what the hell, you know, give him a fighting chance. This guy, pursue him over the edge. I feel like I'm jumping off this edge all the time when I play on this map because everyone uses it to get away. It's not going to work for this guy. I notice the placement of my Chaos Storm is in front of them. Like, I'm sure this is common sense, and I might just be, you know, treating you like kids or whatever, but it's always good to lead with an ability that's an AoE like that. Because then, especially since it applies conditions and could very well throw cripple on them, if you throw that in front of a pack or even just a single target, you can just shut them down. You know, they'll be crippled, they could be crippled by one shot of it and then take out all the other conditions on themselves as well while they're slowed inside of it. And it's just damage in front of them that they can't get away from. Because if you put it on them or behind them, I don't know why you'd put it behind them, but if you put it right on the target that they are, in the moment, they're still going to be moving, especially that. That was a chase. The guy's not going to stand still. Let me waste him. So, yeah, placement, very good. Common sense, but worth mentioning all the time, in my opinion. Here, neutralizing a point, not much to say about this. I danced a little bit. I'm kind of impatient. I want to get back into it, but capping a point is what you should be doing. Like, even though it's kind of tedious and you're not like getting that sweet action, you got to do it. It's the core of structured PvP. And now that I finished that, capping doesn't actually take too long, so it's worth it and it's pretty time efficient. I'm just kind of impatient, and I can roll right out of there and come help my friend. I saw him on the horizon. That right there, that was a bad manipulation. I teleported into the river, which wasn't bad in and of itself, but I should have either teleported to the opposite bank of the river or instantly turned as I teleported. As it was, I lost a few seconds of DPS by facing the wrong direction and not being able to spell. But we picked up the kill anyways. I got my nice little rampage going on up there, so that was my mistake, but it worked out okay. In a more competitive situation with more competent people, it would not have been. So that is not a mistake you want to make. You want to make sure that where you teleport is where you want to be. Even if it's a panic teleport, you just got to make sure it's where you want it to be. You got to be ready to spin around if you're facing the wrong direction. You just got to be on top of that stuff. You got to be able to keep your DPS flowing, keep your conditions coming out. It's all about keeping the field in your favor with Mesmers. You got to set up the field. More so than any other character class that I've encountered so far, you're setting up the field in your favor prior to the fight. You're not just charging in balls to the wall. You're like, I got my clones up, got my phantasms up, my cooldowns are up. You get ready for it, because that's what it takes. Here is another mistake. I blew my teleport, I don't know, maybe 10 seconds earlier, and it was a trivial teleport. I used it to get closer to someone, which is stupid because I'm a Mesmer, I'm ranged, I don't need to close distance, and because it's got a fairly long cooldown on my manipulate, like I didn't need to use that there. So then when I was faced with the wall, I was unable to jump back out, which is what I would typically do. When you're faced with a dead end and you have your cooldowns up, it's very easy to juke backwards, and then people are like, whoa, shit, it's a wall, what's going on? And you know, you're just booking it, you're gone. That's the way to do it. That's what I should have done, and I was too greedy. I was like, oh man, I'm gonna get nice and close to this kid, give him the big ol' F button in the face right when he goes down, and that was my undoing. So, again, you know, at least if you get one thing out of this video, don't be greedy. It will never serve you well unless you're greedy with a mob of people and you're just like zerging the world. I think that's all I really have to say for this. I'm going to try to get to the other classes next beta weekend. I didn't actually anticipate doing commentary footage, but I decided I would because I had a lot of footage. And I'm going to try to get to all the classes in the future because, I don't know, I enjoy doing this. And I hope the people that watch it enjoy watching it. It's good stuff. It's good. The PvP is excellent. Mesmer's a really fun class. And I don't know. I suggest you try it out. I suggest you try the Mesmer. I suggest you try the PvP. Even if you're a PvEer, just, you know, give it a whirl. It's good stuff. Hope you stay tuned for my other class PvP videos, and yeah, subscribe. Peace.